Someone ruined that for everyone.
Why are you looking at me? Like,
What?
It wasn't me.
Oh, no, never.
Whose table did you hit with the scooter, bro?
Oh, here we go
It wasn't
again.
me. I never hit one. Do you know who hit the table? It was, I don't want to drop his name, our boy. Welcome to the Robertson Stash. Season 6 is brought to you by World Needs Cannabis, empowered by Puffco. What's up, everybody? We are sitting down with Ben Burtoni, and we got our co-host Vincent Gordon today on today's episode.
What up?
How you guys doing?
Chilling, man. Stoked to be here.
Yeah. Awesome. How you doing, Vince?
Amazing. Beautiful.
I'm having deja vu right now.
I know.
for
It
some
feels like
reason.
we've done this before.
We just did this.
One of
This
those
is my
flashes.
first time.
Yeah, you're a good actor. Hell yeah. Well, dude, thank you for coming in the pod. It's been a minute. I wanted to always have you on. We got some great collabs in over the years.
Yeah.
One of my favorite collabs is our Foo Rooster, or whatever we're calling it, the BBC, Big Black Chicken.
Yep. That was a fun one.
Yeah, that one really came together. Yeah, are you still making roosters?
No, and I feel like that came at a period. It was a Chinese New Year. You know, it was the year of the rooster, and I think I made them for like a real short period of time. And I feel like your food dogs were also like kind of a short-lived
period. Yeah,
and it just happened that they coincided together. So like that's one that may not ever happen again.
The rooster.
The Foo Rooster.
Oh, the Foo Rooster.
Yeah.
I might bring
Perfect
those
storm.
back.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
That's cool, man. So, how long have you been blowing glass? Do you remember?
I started in January of 99, so
99, wow.
26 years now.
26
More than half of my
years.
life. Yeah.
Wow. And when was the first time you ever like saw glass blowing?
I was in high school. Some friends of mine, we were a bunch of stoners in high school, and this homie came through town with a case of pipes, and they were, these pretty simple spoons, $35. Back then that was quite a bit of money for us. So we all kind of bought one, and we had our little pipe for our sessions and shit, and it was cool. Yeah.
And did you see glass blowing before that, or that was the first time you saw like handmade glass?
Yeah, I grew up in Southern California, and we would like go to Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm and stuff like that, and they always had like a dude in the window making stuff, and like I would always watch, and I never at that point in my life I never thought that this is what I would do, but I did like a lot of art in high school and in college, and the opportunity for a glassblowing apprenticeship came up, and so I kind of stopped doing ceramics at that point and took this apprenticeship for a year, and then kind of never looked back.
You can move that right as close as possible, because
As
in this
close
room
as
it kind
possible.
of echoes out. Having mad deja vu right now.
What? Is the mic on?
Yeah, the mic's
Okay.
Oh
okay.
shit, you're not.
Okay.
Okay.
As long as the mic's on, we're good.
No. So you saw glass blowing at an early age. And
Yeah.
You didn't really connect that with pipes until you saw these handmade pipes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
And how'd that apprenticeship go?
It was cool. We learned how to make like mushroom marbles and the Latticenia twisties, and then they taught us how to make spoons, and then the next thing they taught us was how to make a spoon with a mushroom on it, and then how to make a spoon with a Latticenia on it, and after about 6 months or so, we realized that they knew just about as much as we did at that point. Like they were also kind of beginners at it. But it was so fun to go do this, like, a couple times a week after class. And, we ended up buying our own equipment after the apprenticeship was over. And it was like one of my college, like dorm mates and I, my best friend at the time, we both did this together, and we set up a home studio and just kind of started blowing glass after that.
Is he still blowing glass?
I don't think so. He got like real deep into computers and stuff, and he's done really well for himself with like apps and computers and crypto and things like that. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
Did you know of any other glass blowers at that time? Like, did you Mickelson or Any other?
No,
art glass?
not really. But the dude that sold me my first pipe, the $35 pipe.
Yeah.
He actually also became a glass blower. And
he was a glass blower, right?
He wasn't.
Oh, he wasn't.
He wasn't. He was just hustling at the
I
time.
see.
But he became a glass blower, and then
That's how people were selling those headies back then. I remember that. There was like Shivadas.
Yep.
And they would just go around with cases of headies, town to town.
Yeah, that's how I grew up in high school with Bear Claw. He would make us cases, and
that's dope.
You know, we'd just pass them out to all the homies.
I was just in Iowa for a glass blowing event yesterday. Well, this weekend, and they have this like weird little spider creature, and I was like, yo, who the fuck? Like every time I would walk by the case, I would see just like this one piece would always stand out, and I'm like, yo, who fucking made this thing? And it's like an old bear claw.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, his work was always tight.
Mid-90s.
Yeah,
you know.
So the guy that sold you a pipe, is he still blowing glass now, or?
Fuck if I know.
Yeah. Do you remember his name?
I do, but I'm not gonna fucking. I'm not gonna give him. I'm not gonna give him that credit.
All right.
Yeah. Nice.
So who were some of your first like inspirations when? Glasspipes.org or High Times? Like, were you seeing anybody's art?
Not really in the beginning.
No.
You know, after we kind of got into it, we found out about glasspipes.org and started looking through there. And, you know, I started.
You set up a handle on there?
No, I never really did.
No.
I learned how to blow glass in Hawaii, and it was like so isolated from everybody else that like everything else was like leaps and bounds ahead of anything that I could do at the time.
So your apprenticeship was in Hawaii?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a nice spot for it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, but then I started, you know, kind of getting more involved in things as far as like the art side of it went. And, you know, I did some gas conferences and things like that. And like I started meeting more and more artists. So like Mickelson was on my radar, and like marble artists like Nate Myers and Kai Beck, and like those guys were all like, you know, pretty prominent at the time. And, you know, so I kind of became friends with everybody online, and then, you know, I'd travel back to the mainland and we would hang out and, you know, make work and go to classes and things like that.
Nice. So you grew up in Southern California, and then did the apprenticeship take you out to Hawaii?
No, I went out to Hawaii after I graduated high school. I went to college out there, and in one of my ceramics classes in college, there was a girl. She was like, oh, my boyfriend's doing glass blowing apprenticeships, and it sounded cool, so I kind of signed up for it.
You took ceramics in college, or what was your major?
High school and college, I did a lot of ceramics. Yeah,
me too.
Were you making birds out of ceramics too?
No, not at all.
What was your stuff?
I like throwing stuff on the wheel. I like doing like big coil pots and stuff like that, vessels, things like that. Yeah, I miss ceramics. Like, you know, I always say, oh, I never looked back once I started blowing glass, but like I still appreciate it, and if I had the space and stuff like that, I would do ceramics again. Like, it was super fun.
Yeah, I think one day maybe I'll get back into it too.
Yeah, there's a couple studios where you can go drop in, and they have everything just, you know, set up.
But with ceramics, you would like want to have your stuff sitting around, you know, like just
be
to
immersed
even
in
like
it.
dry up too, and be a certain state before you work on it again. And it's nice to kind of have like a dedicated space for it.
Yeah, it's messy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely messy.
Yeah.
You know, painting's messy, but fucking clay is messy as fuck.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you're out in Hawaii, you're doing some trade shows, you're coming back to the mainland.
Yep.
Did you have your own studio out there afterwards?
Yeah, we had like a little tiny fucking ghetto home studio, but you know, we had I bought a kiln from Sundance Glass. It was like a top loader.
A top loader.
You know, analog controller and shit.
That was my first kiln too.
Yeah, you had
to leave that thing out. You crank it up and you forget.
It gets way too hot.
And have piles, like sheets of pipes.
Puddles of pipes.
Yeah, puddles of pipes. That was my first kiln too.
Yeah, we had like, you know, a little worky studio, but for what we were doing, it was enough to like, you know, make $10 pipes and little pendants and trinkets and stuff. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then when did you move back out to Colorado? Or to Colorado?
I stayed in Hawaii for 12 years. And like right around 2006, I started blowing glass full time. And I was doing like all the craft fairs and, you know, farmers markets and things like that out there. And
were you doing pipes?
I was, but they were all like Sherlocks and hammers and spoons and stuff. Like there were more kind of simple style stuff. And I was doing a lot of like sculptural, just sculptural non-functional stuff to sell at the craft fairs and stuff. It was like the tourist hustle, you know, pendants and sculptures and marbles and things like that. And then I moved back to the mainland in 2010, and I moved to Northern California. And then my girlfriend and I broke up. So I was like, well, I don't know where to go or what to do. Like my folks had moved from Southern California. So like my ties there were kind of gone. And so I started kind of driving around the country for a year and a half. I did like 38,000 miles back and forth across the country to just kind of whoever would like give me a spot to crash and a shop to work in. And I started like really developing my pipe style at that point. You know, shout out to Darby. He was like one of the first people that was like, hey, come to my studio. I got a place for you to stay. You know, you could work here for a couple weeks. And so I went up there and, you know, I still didn't know what to do as far as like making things Burtoni. And I wasn't even Burtoni at this point.
What were you going by? Like
just Ben Burton.
Ben
yeah.
Burton. Okay.
Yeah. And, he was like, well, why don't we take the sea life stuff that you do and just like make it a pipe? And I was like, fuck, dude, like that's awesome. So I started making those squid pipes and stuff like that, and he like helped me dial those in, you know, back in like 2010, and things just kind of progressed from there. You know, I made a lot of other pipes and like decorated them with sea life, and then I made lots of actual sea life, like sharks and some whales and things like that. But like for me, the tentacles and the octopus and the squid and stuff like that like really resonate. So I kind of focused on that pretty hard for a while.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great combo.
Yeah.
So Darby was the muse behind that.
Yeah, he was the big catalyst for me, man. Like he definitely carried me and like helped me see a lot of possibilities that like hadn't really like occurred to me, that like, oh, I can do that. And he's like, fuck yeah, you can do anything the fuck you want, you know?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What a great like influence to have.
Yeah, 100%.
Grandpa Darby.
Darby, Papa Darby.
Oh, he's a grandpa now.
Yeah.
Crazy. So where did you move to Colorado? Or like, did you go right? Are you at Shack Man?
Yeah.
Shack Man.
Yeah.
Minute, right?
So as I was driving through like back and forth across the country, my folks were in Vegas. So that was like a good central spot for me to like stock up on materials, and like I had everything there.
Nice.
And
I was working there too a little bit.
Yeah, I was. Fat Jack had a studio there that our friend Bob ran, and Bob passed away of a brain tumor like a few years after that. Yeah, it was pretty rough. But it was a super fun shop. We like a bunch of people worked there, had a good time. But I would cross through Colorado pretty regularly. You know, Nate Myers lived a couple hours north of me in Northern California when I moved out there. And so I would like go visit him, and, you know, he was like, well, I'm moving to Colorado. So if you want to come meet these guys, just like drive through Colorado. So I drove through, met everybody at the Shack Man. This is before the Shack Mansion. This was like the original art gallery on Tennyson in like the art district.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he had this like, his mom is like a really good oil painter. Like she makes awesome work.
Really?
So they had this really nice art gallery, and in the back they had like a garage size studio where all the pipers worked, you know, and it was like Adam G, WJC, Tuba, Simon, Shack Man, Nate Myers, and then Silver Fox, rest in peace.
Wow, yeah.
And, you know, they were working there for quite a while. And so I would like jump in, you know, I would swing through Colorado and Denver. And like, I would jump in there and work with those guys for a while until I went to my next stop. And every time I'd pass back and forth through Colorado, I'd always stop here. I really liked it here. And then at some point, I think they're doing like a bunch of construction out on that street. So like, walk-in traffic for the gallery was really poor, and they just, decided to get rid of the gallery. So Shackman started looking for a new place to blow glass. So they found this big warehouse that eventually turned into the Shack Mansion. And I just kind of helped build it out with him while I was in town. And towards the end of the build out, he was like, hey, if you want to be like part of the crew, you've helped me so much, like we could set up a bench for you. You can, and I was like, fuck it. Like this is awesome. I like Colorado. The only things I realized I did that were illegal were smoke weed and drive faster than the speed limit. So now I just drive faster than the speed limit because we're allowed to smoke weed here and shit. And it was like the pros here like outweighed the cons by far. And I kind of did the same thing, pros and cons, to a lot of the different places I went. And I just like Colorado, and so like 2012, I guess I moved here. And, Tuba, I stayed at Tuba's house in his guest room for a little while until I found my own place. And,
nice.
So shout out to Tuba for giving me the opportunity and, getting my feet down, planting some roots here. And then, I rented a place not too far from the studio and, lived there for a couple years, and then eventually bought my own house here. And, I've been here since 2012.
Wow. So the Shack Mansion was the spot like in Aurora, kind of near the portal right there?
In Arvada. Yeah. In Arvada.
Arvada.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. We're, we opened up and like everybody worked there, like
I've been,
like all the Evergreen guys, all of the Portal guys, like we were all in one studio together for a long time.
Oh, really?
And then, a little while after some of the guys went and opened the Portal, and then some of the guys went and opened Everdream. And so like people just kind of like broke off and branched out from there and opened their own studios. And
so that was the OG spot in Colorado.
Yeah. It was a cool place to blow glass for a long time.
That's very cool. Now got your home studio.
Yep, got a home studio. I don't think it was like during COVID or so. Shackman decided he didn't want to manage the studio anymore, and the overhead got super high, and so it was kind of like, well, what do we do? And I've got like a nice garage, and so we like finished the garage, ran power, insulated it, drywall, ventilation, kind of did all that, and the two of us just worked there.
Drive to work.
Yeah,
internet.
Roll out of bed.
Yeah.
Turn the kiln on.
Don't worry about anything.
Yeah.
Get snowed in. Oh well.
Yeah.
Work.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah, too.
No
It's like home studio's pretty.
Yeah. It's nice.
tight.
There's upsides and downsides.
Yeah. Totally.
Do you have trouble like differentiating like work time and like personal time at all, just because it's all melted into one space?
I get distracted as fuck sometimes, for sure. I try to like do work stuff during work hours or whatever.
Oh, you got work hours. That's nice.
No, I mean I don't. But like I try to get work done, and I try not to be distracted by like stuff I got to do around the house or other things like that. So
what hours are you blowing glass usually on a regular?
Honestly, usually around like 9 to 5 or 10 to 6 or something like that. Yeah, I'm definitely a day shift person. I don't like doing the late night shifts and stuff anymore.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I like going all night.
Yeah. I don't know how you do it. I like to sleep at night.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, that's nice too.
When do you sleep? During the day?
I mean, it depends what I'm doing. Like if I'm in a project, like my sleep schedule is just fucked. Like I might sleep 2 hours or whatever.
Oh, if you're on the road or something?
Or just like really like sometimes like when I'm in a project, I'll go to sleep and all I can do is think about the fucking project, and I'm just laying awake thinking about the project. So I just get up and just work on the project instead of wasting my time
not
pretending like you're sleeping.
Right.
Then you're not getting anything done. You're not getting the work done, and you're not getting no rest. So you may as well
work.
Yeah, you may as well just work. So, but yeah, it's definitely like an artist's plight. Just how do you want it?
And that's the like one of the big conveniences of having a home studio is just being able to get out there on a whim and do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, any time is the right time.
So looking back on your journey up until now, I mean, Darby seemed like he was a real pivotal moment.
Yep.
Are there any other like big pivotal moments that kind of helped you helped your career accelerate?
Honestly, just, after being so secluded and like kind of isolated blowing glass in Hawaii for so long, getting to work with anybody was like,
the collabs
was big. Yeah. Collabs and learning how to make like new techniques and stuff like that.
Just working in like a group studio.
Yeah. With people and just like watching people work. And, it was one of those, like, you can do that? Oh shit. How'd you do that? Like, I'm a pretty quick learner, so like just kind of watching people work, like I was able to assimilate the new techniques and apply them to like my own work and things that I wanted to do.
So you're having fun and your skill level was going up.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
absolutely feel good for sure.
It was great.
Yeah, I feel like community is a pivotal part of the journey. 100%. Like if you wouldn't have met these characters along the way, if you wouldn't have had to put yourself in this environment, like you might not even be doing what you're doing currently.
Absolutely.
So it's like, collaboration and just, each one teach one shit. So important,
Yeah. And I did a lot of like, excuse me, a lot of bead shows and things like that. And, I did the best bead show down in Tucson and Bead and Button in Milwaukee. And
were you doing Moretti beads or are they?
No. I was mostly making pendants and stuff at the time, but, and this is even while I still lived in Hawaii. Those are good just shows for the pendies and stuff. Yeah.
Shows,
and,
sure.
I became friends with like Andrew Brown and, Lucan and Devin and Micro and all those guys. And like, this is before the whole pipe scene kind of erupted. So nobody had like a nickname yet, or and it was like
Salt,
we were all bead ladies at the time, and we were making pendants and doing this stuff, and
that's cool.
Working with those guys too.
Like 20 years ago.
Yeah,
more than that.
Yeah, it was about 20 years ago, like 06, 07, 08. And working with those guys, the small opportunities I got was like also really eye-opening to kind of like different styles and different things people were doing. Cause especially if you look at their work now, but it's the same, 20 years ago, like everybody's work was so different. Like they all had their own thing that they were kind of like driving towards. And yeah, just the opportunity to work with other people was like probably the most motivational and like inspirational thing for me as far as like growth goes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So now you're in your home studio with Shackman. Do you kind of miss the group studio?
Pros and cons, or
is it just a different season and now it's
you can roll out of bed and get in the studio and but every once in a while, like our liquid tank will vent out or die or whatever if I'm out of town, or I'll come back and I'll be like, oh shit, it's crunch time for a trade show and the tank's gone and we don't get our delivery for 5 days. So I'll go down to the portal and work. Coons and those guys are super welcoming, and I'll go down there and hang out for a couple days, and I'm like, holy shit, I fucking miss this. Like working with people that are like excited and working and just like being around other glassblowers. Like Shackman's awesome. He's one of my best friends, but he also has another job, so he's not always there. So a lot of time I find myself in the studio, kind of by myself working. But yeah, getting to go down to the portal and work out there and do stuff with other people is like, it's a nice feeling.
It's a charge up.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah, as antisocial as making art it can be, finding that community and having that collaborative atmosphere and just that opportunity to have the energy exchange is like vital.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just, can really just fill your cup very quickly.
Yes.
Was there a moment on your journey at any point where you thought it wasn't going to work out?
No, not once. And, fortunately, I've got a pretty good work ethic. I like working. I love blowing glass. And that was like, right at the time where pipe making was like really kind of blowing up. So like everywhere I went, all the collabs, people were buying them. People were stoked.
The golden era.
Yeah. And so, things went really well. Never crossed my mind at the time.
Good, solid work. The more you work, the more successful you are.
Exactly.
Yeah. Pretty easy.
When you were talking about transitioning from like the more ocean, like natural landscape stuff, like, and then changing your style, what motivated you to change your style, or what like inspired you, or what, you know, what gave you that leverage to be like, this is a necessary step that I need to take for my creative process?
You know, I still make the sea life stuff. I still love making the sea life stuff. I've kind of like been pigeonholed into making birds, and like not necessarily by choice. It was just like
I'd like to talk more about that too.
It was like a random occurrence that happened. But I lost the market where I was like, you know, turtle pendants and sharks and dolphins and octopus, because I was doing the Waikiki craft fair where I'd set up on the weekend.
Yeah, very Hawaii, very SoCal. You know, it fits the vibe and stuff for sure.
Yeah, and then when I moved to Northern California, I was like, well, fuck, I don't have this outlet for my work anymore. So I had to kind of figure out something to do. And so
So you went with the birds?
No, that didn't happen for a little while yet. That didn't happen until I moved here to Colorado.
Oh, okay.
But I like really started focusing on making pipes because they were kind of selling, and there was a shop in the neighborhood I lived in Santa Rosa, called the Peace Pipe. I don't know if you guys know Bob from Peace Pipe, but he's a super good dude. And he kind of helped me out a lot in the first like 6 months I was there, buying whatever work I would make and things like that. And that helped me at least pay my bills and pay my rent and things like that.
Which in turn gives you more creative freedom to kind of do what you want to do and what you're passionate about.
And then, about a month, within the next month after I left there and like went up to Darby's and worked with him, things kind of like really started picking up for me at that point. So shout out to Bob at Peace Pipe.
Shout out Bob.
Shout out Bob.
And all the Bobs out there. Can't do it without you, Bobs.
There's definitely been like a lot of people that have, helped me along this journey that like I have a lot of respect and appreciation for. So,
yeah, it's dope to acknowledge them.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta
give the motherfuckers their flowers while they can still smell them, man.
Give props where props are due.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how did the birds come around?
Shit, the birds.
Let's hear the birds.
All right.
There we go. Perfect.
So the squid pipes that I was making, that I still make, they have this shape, this like taper to the head of them. And every time, like there's a point where I was like making them and I would like always see the body of a flamingo, like as I would make this shape. And, one of my shop mates was like, I was like, dude, I kind of want to make a flamingo. And he was like, you won't do it. You won't do it. And I was like, fuck, I probably won't, And so I kept making these pipes, whatever. And then he went out of town for the weekend on fish tour or what, and while he was gone, I was like, yo, I'm going to make some fucking flamingos. So I made a bunch of like the crudest flamingo legs, at the time, because I hadn't kind of dialed it in at all. This was like the first one. And then I made these dry flamingo pipes. I did that squid head shape, and then I just like,
were they with the serendipity
with
color?
the serendipity?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
The
and
first ones.
Just kind of pulled the neck and like had the beak on there, and they were really rudimentary, but I made 5 of them, and some serendipity, like red, pomegranate over white, alien tech, because it was like hot back then before it started exploding all the time. And so I made these like 5 little dry Sherlocks and put these weird legs on them, and I remember it had like snowed at the time. And the following day, Denver, Colorado weather, it was fucking nice and sunny out. And we had this like creek that ran behind our shop. And I was like, yo, there's like a big sheet of ice on this thing. And it's just like snow all around it. So I took these like 5 flamingos and I put them out on the ice. Nice. With like all the snow, and I took this picture and I posted it, and it fucking blew up. Like every shop was hitting me up like, yo, we need some of these, like make us some of these pipes. And I got stuck as the flamingo guy after that. Like, I hate to say this, but I have like no real affinity to this bird like I do the sea life stuff.
gotta make up a story.
I mean, even just the squid's head, reminding you of it visually as an artist. That's how a tangent gets started.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, that is inspiring in itself.
Right.
So it's like,
inspired the
100%.
So the process of creating art in itself is inspiration, in future inspiration, and just fucking make shit, dude.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like with Instagram, as like social as it is and stuff, I get people sending me like flamingo facts and like, check out this cool flamingo art that someone else did, and like I appreciate it. I like enjoy looking at it. I always check the links that people send me for stuff like that. But for me, it's like the octopus and the squid and like things with tentacles. Like. That's the stuff that that's what I really like. That's my spirit animal, if I'm allowed to have one of those as a fucking white person. That's my spirit animal.
Squid.
You don't think white people are allowed to have spirit animals?
I don't know. I've heard all these things like you're appropriating culture if you have a spirit animal. I don't know.
Spirit appropriation.
So,
man.
But yeah, I enjoy making the flamingos, and I've spent a lot of time like working on them and developing them, and they're so much nicer now than they were back then, and like for me that growth is that's what I like to see in myself and other artists and things like that, and they've also led to the development of like I've done a bunch of cassowaries, and I've done some like ostriches and peacocks, and it's like any bird with that like nice S curve in their neck like really applies itself well to the work that I do with slight variations and stuff like that, and so I'm very fortunate that
those birds are the perfect Sherlock shape.
That I did get pigeonholed into the flamingos.
Is that what a flamingo sounds like?
Sometimes when they're soaring, it's pretty similar to that.
But you still have creative freedom, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as artists, we all make the choice.
Absolutely.
We can do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah. Well, the thing is like I've tried moving away from the birds a few times, and then everybody's like, "Well, where's the birds?"
Pulling you back.
Yeah, you got to make some more birds. Like make some new birds. I'm like, "Fuck, all right,
keep your people happy."
I'm gonna make these birds, and I do enjoy making them. But
that would suck if you hated doing it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Then it'd be just like a normal job, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you enjoy making right now?
Money.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's the button for that, my boy? Where's the button for that, my boy?
Cha-ching.
I don't have that. Here's the joke button.
Secure the bag.
I really like making all the work that I make. I like making stuff that makes people happy. So like if people see it and they're like, "Oh my God, that's so cool." Like to me, that's like, I feel like that's a step of success,
That's the best thing to make.
Yeah.
Make people happy.
Yeah.
Make people smile.
Are we smoking on this episode? Do you smoke, Ben?
Not too much anymore, but I mean, if y'all want to roll one up, fucking
I don't care. This is shaming me right now for smoking.
Come on. I ain't that far gone yet.
I have to, maybe.
I would never shame you for smoking.
All right. Well, no. Do you care?
No, not at all. Yeah,
we're past the point that we're allowed to smoke on.
That's YouTube. What I like, though, respecting motherfuckers' boundaries and respecting the space that we're sharing.
Mutual, yeah.
No. Why, are you not smoking weed?
No, I smoke hella weed, my boy.
I was like, wait, what's happening here,
dude?
What's happening here?
I was just asking you if it's okay to smoke.
Oh yeah,
weed.
of course.
But we do talk about substances on this pod, and we do talk about how to respect boundaries and sobriety.
I wouldn't want to smoke in your face if you're like, no, I just quit smoking for.
No, it's not like that at all. It's not like that at all. I'm in the wrong job if it was like that.
Yeah. So on that note,
roll up.
We'll roll one up. And so how's Vegas doing? Are the trade shows the same as they used to be?
Absolutely not.
And they're not even there anymore, right? Did you go to, Waldo's got the new one, right? Did you go to that?
I flew in for a day just to check it out. Okay. I did not get a booth or anything. No. Yeah.
It's at Alexis Park, right?
It was like old timey, bro.
Yeah, did everyone have scooters?
Taking it back.
No.
It wasn't like the scooter.
It wasn't. Someone ruined that for everyone.
Why are you looking at me? Like,
what?
It wasn't me.
Oh no, never.
Whose table did you hit with the scooter?
Oh, here we go again.
It wasn't me. I never hit one. Do you know who hit the table? It was, I don't want to drop his name, our boy.
So it wasn't you.
He was cool about it. It was LaBrava, dude. Like 1 year.
He told that story on the pod.
He told the story on the pod, yeah. And he was cool about it. He offered to pay for everything. It was like, not cool about it.
Did he hit your table?
No.
Oh,
but I was there and I saw it.
Whose table did you hit?
Brava.
Gotcha.
I didn't hit no one's table. I was an expert driver. I have a rig of a giraffe riding one of those, dude. Do you remember that? I do. No, that was fun. I didn't hit nobody. I had my little cooler scooter after. I was like, I'm bringing my own. Mm-hmm. That thing went 15 miles an hour.
That's the move.
That was fun.
That's the move. I think after like a couple years of those things like getting rented out completely from the places, they like banned our group from renting them. They're like, unless you actually have a handicap, like y'all are just,
which a lot of us do.
Yeah.
Just ain't gonna lie.
We're fitting the category. Yeah, the Vegas times. Those good times for sure.
It was, man.
We ain't done yet though.
No.
You know, I mean,
yeah, in our 80s when we actually need them all, we'll be back out there.
Yeah. Yep.
Mobbing.
I mean, we went to a trade show. I won't even say which one it was.
Who? you and me?
You and I.
Okay.
And it was depressing.
Oh.
It was depressing. It was
it's not the same anymore.
It was
dude.
all AI art.
Okay.
You could tell there was just no integrity.
Right.
There, you know.
I mean, and that's got to be hard
was a
for
shell of
someone
itself.
like as talented and prolific as you. You know, you like.
It's
you've
disrespectful.
spent so
man.
long
It's
developing
crazy.
just like this awesome work, and then having just AI bullshit come up all over the place.
And
AI is crazy right now.
and we're doing it to ourselves. You know, we gotta.
You not use AI at all?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, I'm not like 100%
not
opposed
really.
to it. Like, it can be used, I think, properly to help business and things like that. But like to solely make a living making AI art and stuff like that, where you're just like typing in some keywords into Chat GPT, like that's I don't know. I think that's kind of lame.
Real art with a prompt.
Yeah, that's brain rot for sure.
Yeah.
And it's totally. We're gonna see how it affects the creativity of this younger generation.
Sure.
Because they're not even problem solving the same ways that, you know, growing up we had to problem solve.
They don't need to.
You know
They just ask chat.
Yeah.
They just ask chat, what do I do now? And I'll say, oh, great idea. Do this. No matter what.
We think drug addiction and alcoholism is bad. Like,
Right.
what is the AI addiction? What is the rehabilitation for that going to look like?
Right.
You know, what are we going to? What is, you know, like when we can't even, you know, have a simple interaction without running it through a fucking, you know, a prompt or fucking Gronk or whatever the fuck it is. You know, like I've never used that shit.
Yeah.
You know?
There's
I never
AI
have
psychosis happening now. People are
I
just
believe
like
it.
chatting.
I believe
with
it.
chat all day long.
And it's also
which
like
is creepy.
reinforcing crazy like AI is gaslighting you. Like
Yeah,
you're like
that's a good word for it.
Like this
Yeah.
dude.
That's perfect.
I was watching this one. This dude is wearing like a crazy stupid baby hat, and he's like asking the AI like, "Does this look good?" And it's like, "Yeah, it looks great. I think people think you're fashionable and stuff." And it's like, dude, what the fuck? Like that's a baby's hat.
Have you seen the South Park episode where Stan? It's like it's about this. It's like about AI psychosis.
I mean, it's literally just dumbing down society to a point where we can't even think for ourselves. Like we're already having trouble like decompartmentalizing like, you know, everything that's happening in front of us, you know, not to mention this AI overlord coming in and just polluting the waters. You know, it's making it almost impossible to distinguish reality from
Well, you know, with AI
bullshit.
and like all the new technology over the last 100 years, we've went from no refrigeration to like AI, right? And in the next 10 years, we're going to go like 100 to 500 years of technology within 10 years, and we're the guinea pigs for it.
Yeah.
We've been the guinea pigs for so much shit, man.
Isn't that crazy?
Like we are,
I just had a podcast with Hoobs, and he was saying like it's like technology doesn't have the guardrails on for us. And then the next generation, like, oh, wait, red light or whatever, or this causes, let's put restrictions on it. But with us, we're all just, you know, testing it right now. VR,
I think
AR,
I think it's just
AGI.
important to just think for ourselves and, you know, don't just give in to the group think bullshit, you know, like we need to keep our individuality and, you know, use our fucking brains, man.
100%.
So important, you know, the creative outlet, you know, keeping the creativity flowing, you know, keeping us human, you know, keeping us rooted in, you know, even like what, you know, inspired you to create your art originally. It's the things that we find beautiful about life and, you know, about our environment,
right?
You know, and it's like, that's what we, you know, mirror, you know, so it's like, you know, beauty creates more beauty. And if we're living in this stagnant machine world, that beauty dies.
Sure.
You know, just like an unwatered plant that, yep. You know, it will shrivel, you know, and if it, you know, goes long enough, the roots are dead. It's no longer, you know, savable, you know? So it's like, I think that we're at a crucial crossroads, you know, as far as like, you know, our soul and keeping us, you know, human, you know, otherwise we're all gonna be RoboCops walking around this motherfucker, you know, most, you know, Darth Vader style.
Bunch of Terminators.
Well, what do you think it's gonna be like in 10 years? Do you think AI is gonna go away?
I think just like drinking and driving or anything else, that we're gonna have to learn the balance of like, okay, like, you know, it's okay for us to sit here and have a drink, but if we fucking get drunk and then jump in the car, and we're a danger. So there's a thin line between what is functional and what is dysfunctional, you know, and just like any other, you know, addiction or, you know, anything, you know, it's like we just have to find balance, you know, and be honest with ourselves of how it's affecting us, you know, not only professionally, you know, but socially,
right?
You know, like, you know, if I can't talk to my girlfriend without putting it through AI,
and say, what do you think?
You know, or if I can't discipline my kid without putting it through AI, like what the fuck? What are we even doing?
Mm-hmm. You know, when AI goes away, what are people going to be left with after they get used to it for so long? It's going to be like
just
the movie
sludge in between the ears,
Idiocracy.
Mm-hmm. You know,
like, what do I do? Even with like navigation, dude, like no one knows how to get anywhere.
Yeah, or phone numbers, you know,
phone numbers.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, I can still remember some of my childhood friends' phone numbers. I don't know anybody's phone numbers now.
No,
like not my folks,
crazy.
not my
Same.
sister, like
my parents' number.
Yeah,
that's muscle memory. You know, that's you know, we're not using those muscles, so we lose them.
If my phone died and I needed and I was lost somewhere,
smoke signals.
Yeah, you know, I don't know how I would solve that.
Yeah.
Aside from going to the gas station and buying a charger and like plugging my phone back in.
Yeah, we're very dependent.
Yeah,
very dependent. You know, so yeah, healthy boundaries.
What do you do to stay healthy? Do you have any healthy activities?
Yeah, you know, I had a couple health issues come up in the last few years, and realized I needed to kind of change, you know, change the things I was doing if I wanted to stay alive, I guess. So I go to the gym a couple times a week now. I just do a lot of swimming mostly. You know, I've been in the water my whole life, like swimming, water polo, surfing. And when I moved here, I kind of lost all that, you know. And
it's the toughest thing about being out here.
Yeah,
the fucking water.
Yeah,
Miss Cali. You know.
Yeah, so I swim a few nights a week and helps keep me going, which is nice. And you know, do some push-ups and some sit-ups and some burpees and. You know, nothing like too crazy, but it's
just move it.
It's you know, gotta get your heart rate going. Yeah,
gotta do that.
Yeah.
Do you read at all?
You know, not as much as I used to.
Okay.
You know, I feel like I just don't have that much time in the day between working and going to the gym and like taking care of the house and just kind of like all that kind of stuff that I don't read as much as I would like to. I do enjoy reading, but I just don't find too much time for it these days.
It takes a lot of time. Do you listen to any
books? I was doing audibles for a while and like listening to books and just kind of fell off of that.
What are you listening to in the shop when you're working?
The TV.
Watching TV?
Yeah.
What are you watching? Like Seinfeld reruns?
No, I mean I feel like we've watched everything at this point. You know, we've got
just on
Hulu
always.
and Netflix and kind of HBO and Prime, and we've gone through like all the really good shows.
What are you currently watching?
We just rewatched Game of Thrones, and like I watched that when it was playing, and then I didn't, the ending of the show was so bad that I was like, fuck this show, I'll never watch this again. And
they left the Starbucks coffee cup in it.
Yeah. But like 10 years later, I had some little clips pop up on my YouTube shorts or whatever, and I was God, this show was pretty fucking good until the end. And so we started watching it, and we ended up just like running through all whatever.
I guess the new dragon, like there's a dragons one.
Yeah, House of the Dragons. Yeah,
I haven't seen any of the new ones. No, is it good?
It's wild. It's not like as thick as Game of Thrones. It's a little bit more like cut and dry.
Is it worth watching?
It's good. It's good. It's dramatic. It's got ups and downs and stuff. But
might give it a shot just because we are running out of content.
We're rewatching Ozark right now.
Yeah,
that's a damn good show.
Yeah,
that was a
good
really
old
good
Ruth.
Show. Yeah. It's such a. Have you ever seen Ozark?
I have not. No.
I
hear it's good though. I think I have it on the list.
Jason Bateman.
Yeah, I got it on the list of things to get into.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
Aaron and I, when we were working on the Melty Bros show for Miami, we were watching The Sopranos through again.
Oh, that's
like one of my favorites, man. That shit's crazy. It's so fucked up.
What's the biggest piece you've ever made? Would you say
size-wise?
Yeah. Can you recall or?
AKM and I did a piece together for like the first team DFO, and he made this like big pile of bones with like a big skull bubbler, and I made this giant eagle that sat on top of it, and it was like a 2-part thing, my bird was like huge and his pile of bones was huge, and I just remember like lifting these and putting them in the kiln, and like the next day I was like physically sore from because I don't.
Was that out in the woods that DFO that was like?
No, it was at
was that
Cornerstone?
Cornerstone.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
then
like
they had it out in the fort in the like woods after for a year or two.
Yeah.
And then it was back there.
Yeah, I think Cornerstone kind of dropped out and started doing other stuff. So there wasn't like the glass blowing facility there anymore. Yeah.
Well, shout out DFO. They're having their friends and family reunion coming up here soon.
Yeah.
Pretty sick.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest piece I've ever made.
Nice. Yeah. That makes sense.
I'd say
at a competition.
Yeah.
Most go big.
What's your biggest piece like emotionally or like artistically? Because I felt like that's where you're going originally when you asked.
I don't know how to answer that question, bro. Like,
what's the first favorite?
Yeah,
my favorite piece
that you've made.
Like, what's the first piece that pops into your mind?
Besides the BBC, dude. Come on.
That was a banger, bro. That was a hot one.
That one had the little world on it and everything. Yeah. You don't even remember that one.
Oh, I remember it.
All right.
I remember it.
Your voice gets higher when you lie.
I don't even think you know what you're talking about. No, I remember that one. I love that face. I love the food dog.
I'm making him again.
I like artists breaking the mold that we've created for ourselves. So it's like, we've been doing this for long enough where it's like we can identify we're on the beaten path.
Yeah.
So anything
you step out of your comfort zone. And
it's great.
It's that puzzle you got to figure out again.
Yeah.
It's just fun. That's why I did this in the first place. Like figuring out it's like a puzzle, dude. You make it work.
Yeah.
What do you think let's ask this question. We got to ask you this one. What's the state? What do you think the current state of the glass world is? Is it picking up, or is it?
I think it's
coming
picking
back,
up.
or is it
I think
going
it's
away?
Picking up a little bit.
Is it the East Wing? No.
Shit.
I feel like it's been the East Wing for a long time.
What's the East Wing?
Completely demolished.
Yeah. The White House.
Oh, I didn't know that. Is this breaking news?
You're Canadian. It's all right. This is American shit. Don't worry about it.
America.
This happened a long time ago?
No.
Current events,
recently.
Current events.
Very recently.
Yeah. Was this where the ballroom's going to
happen?
Yes.
Yes.
I know.
So
the secret military base underneath it?
It's not a secret. He literally told fucking everybody.
Oh, okay.
Secret's out, dude.
Hopefully things build up into a ballroom again. Like
we will dance again.
Yeah, I think things are picking up. It's been slow, but I've been staying busy. There's I've seen some good trade shows. I've seen some not good trade shows. I think just kind of the dynamic of it all is shifting a little bit. And, you know, you got to adjust and like change what you're doing if you want to stay relevant in the game right now. Price points are lower, but if you sell more stuff at a lower price point, you're still making the same amount as if you sold one big price point kind of item. I just think people are spending a little less money, but people still want to spend money. You know, there's still people that are like wanting to spend. They just don't want to spend as much just because, you know, current state of the economy and things like that. So
yeah, people are still passionate. People are still interested. People are still engaged. You know, even if their financial situation can't keep up with that interest.
Right.
I think it's still important for us to enjoy it and still keep creating and keep doing it, because it's the quality of life.
Yes.
You know, like art, you know, like we are not a necessity, you know, it's not food, clothes, shelter. You know, we are pleasure. We're in the business of pleasure.
We're novelty items, you know, and people got to take care of, you know, priorities before they can spend whatever expendable income they have on something that they just like for no reason, you know?
And also I feel that with as crazy as the times are right now, us as artists really have to put some intention into what we're putting out there.
Yes.
You know, because there is so much bad vibes out there right now that we really need to be held accountable for the energy we're putting out there into the world. And we really need to like fucking get some love out there. You know, I mean, it's, you know, it's mandatory, you know, and, you know, I feel like America is at a crossroads, you know, and that we need, you know, culturally, we need to accept the responsibility that, you know, we need to bring love into this world, and we need to create a precedent for, you know, the coming future, the not so distant future, you know, and the children, you know, that aren't making the decisions, you know, that are creating the world, you know. And
do you think there's artists out there doing the opposite of that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And what would that be? Just,
I mean, you can get into that low, you know, vibration shit, you know, that, you know, I mean, it's, you call it what it may be, you know, but there's definitely people feeding off those, you know, negative, evil vibes, you know, and trying to push that shit forward, you know. I mean, it's
a battle out there.
Yeah, it's a moral war going on. It's not just
moral
war. It's not just, you know, physical bombs, you know, and death happening. There is a death of morality happening.
That's so
right
true
now,
right now, dude.
Yeah, man.
Because you see it, man. You see what's happening behind the scenes and all.
Yeah, in our communities, man, we can see the people that, you know, I mean, people have heavy hearts right now. You know, people need love more than anything right now. You know, and how we contribute, you know, to this world is on us, man. You know, and as artists, I think that we are outside of that box. So many people live inside of a box, 9 to 5. I have to live like this. You know, they're living, you know, working for the corporations. They don't have a fucking choice in this shit.
Right.
Us artists, we have a fucking choice, man. You know, and it's our responsibility to put that fucking love out there, you know, and to articulate that and be intentional with that love.
Yeah.
You know, makes people happy.
Yeah. And it will inspire them to do the same.
But if everyone just did that in the slightest way, just go your way just a little bit to make someone's world a little bit better.
Yeah, things would be so much better.
Yeah. And even just take into consideration, how am I affecting this person? You know, am I affecting this person positively or negatively? Like, is this an experience that they're going to take with levity in their heart and love in their heart? Or are they going to have heaviness and sadness after this? You know, and, you know, it's not that hard to leave people with love.
But sometimes you need that sadness to feel the happiness.
It's all, yeah, it's definitely part of it.
You kind of do.
Sure. No, yeah.
Because if everything was trending and it was all super happy, like
it'd be weird.
It'd be weird, right? Weird. Like it'd just be like, I think I'm sick of being happy all the
time.
The
utopian, you know,
you gotta have that balance, right?
I think we've seen enough sadness for a while. It's just like a good outburst of happiness.
More than happy time, right?
More than death. So
we're in the. I feel like we are stepping into this new age of happiness, like with the age of Aquarius, like all with what's going on in the stars too. Like I feel,
we're at a crossroads for sure.
I have faith,
yeah.
That it's gonna be the good times again. You know, it's just like,
I hope so.
It's a lot
I look forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, I think it's also not making it, again, but just making it something new and great for the first time. Like, let's reach a pinnacle of greatness that we have never even
just imagine if you tapped out of all media and you just did your thing and kind of like there was a way for you to not get any outside of what is going on. Is things that bad? I guess things are taxed as fuck, but like,
yeah, I mean,
is this
what do you think?
Like, could you just have a nice and not worry about the state of the world?
I mean, in your own small bubble, or is it impossible? You possibly could, but the picture is way bigger than that. You need to see the forest for the trees, and like you can't ignore like all the stuff that's happening and play, feign ignorance in the situation, because like it's still going to happen. It's still happening. And if we're not, like you said, contributing to make it better, then it's going to continue in the trajectory that it is.
Yeah. So what could we do about that?
I mean, we can't be an ostrich with our head in the hole.
Fucking A.
You ever done a piece like that?
In the hole? No, I actually haven't. Yeah, no, I should.
That's where they get the food though, right?
I don't know.
Eat some bugs in there.
Do ostriches actually stick their head in the ground like that? I don't even know.
I've seen it in cartoons.
I don't even know if that's
a roadrunner.
I don't know if that's something that's rooted in reality or if it's just a weird saying.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Have you ever made a roadrunner?
I have.
I feel like you have. Yeah,
I have. Roadrunner was pretty fun. It's a fun piece.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Well, making art, I guess that's what we can do to contribute to just making this place a better place.
Yep.
Yeah.
And one piece at a time.
Yeah.
One day
at a time.
One piece.
That's popular right now.
It is.
I guess.
It's sick.
What is that? Is that a show?
It's an anime, but they just can't.
But now it's collectible cards.
The second season came out of the live action, so.
Oh, did it? Did it drop, the new one?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I'm going to have to watch that.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. I enjoyed the first live action season.
Have you watched the anime at all?
I haven't. I have a hard time like watching cartoons these days. Like I'll try. Yeah, I used to love it, and like I'll try and watch them, and I just have a hard time following.
Anime is definitely not the place to tap in, right? Because it's.
But there's a live action one.
Yeah, on Netflix. Yeah,
it's out right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could probably watch it with the kids. They probably like
it's good for the kids.
Yeah, they probably like it. It's a little violent here and there, but it's fine.
America.
Give that a try.
Yeah. Kids love violence.
They love Cat Dog right now. Cat Dog. Have you heard that? It's funny.
The cat dog and look at that dog.
Yeah. That's a pretty good show.
Yeah, for sure.
This episode is brought to you by Puffco. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably already know what rosin is, and you probably already dab. But not everybody does, and not everybody wants to go out and get a torch and butane and a banger and all that stuff. Puffco is push a button, inhale, done. They're perfect for curious moms and dads, aunts and uncles, friends who want to try extracts, and people who just might be a little too intimidated by the whole dab ceremony. It removes the fear, it removes the hassle, it removes the am I doing this wrong energy. Check out all the different styles and colors they have at puffco.com. This is the future of cannabis buying. World Needs Cannabis makes it stupid easy. They have top quality products from trusted growers and legit extractors. No random mystery weed. They have hand selected menus. Just browse, click, and wait for the mailman. Go to worldneedscannabis.com. Put in code STASH25 for 25% off of your order. What about, you ever seen a UFO?
Give cat dog to UFOs real quick.
I want to say yes, but I don't know.
I
don't know if I actually have. I've seen some lights in the sky, but I also probably wasn't wearing my glasses at the time. So what the fuck is that?
Oh, yeah.
I want to believe. Yeah, I want to believe. Yeah, absolutely.
Believe, yeah. Absolutely. I think I've seen weird things.
I think I have too.
I
definitely have with Kiva Ford.
Yeah.
Craziness.
We were outside of Roswell actually, and we thought we saw something weird floating over one of the cliffs. I was out there with Sean Dietrich, and we were like, "What the fuck is that?" And it wasn't a plane or anything, but it was definitely like some weird thing floating up there.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck it was.
Me and Kyle saw something driving from Denver Airport over the mountains. I was like, "Do you see that white dot that's hovering over the mountain there?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, and I said, "Keep your eye on that." And then it just disappeared. It just disappears like a white dot.
Yeah. I think that
bigger than a plane.
Yeah, might have been the moon.
No, it's not the moon. It's way smaller.
This man knows a moon when he sees one.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know a moon when I see one.
It's about to be a full moon coming up here soon.
All right.
On like April 1st, Easter.
Isn't that tomorrow?
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Or maybe it's on Easter Sunday. Easter Sunday, but.
Oh, yeah, it is tomorrow. Shit.
Let me ask chat here.
Oh, my God.
Yo, what's up, chat?
Dude.
When's the next full moon?
This fucking guy. Make this a commercial for Brain Rot. This is brought to you by Brain Rot.
Calendar to like.
All you have to do is
look at your screen. You like Google? Okay, it's April 1st. The full moon is tomorrow. What's gonna happen, dude?
Werewolves.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, full.
Some crazy shit in Iran.
That was a cool meme that I saw that it was like people think that this is consistency, and it was all just a black circle, and then it said this is consistency, and it was all the different phases of the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that resonated with me in an interesting way that I thought was kind of cool to like, we don't have to be the same person all the time.
Right.
There is different modes to us, and there is different, we can feel different feelings. We don't have to be consistently like robotic and shit. It's like give ourselves grace. I like that shit. Something simple, but pleasant.
Yeah. But you keep coming back. I like that. The cycle.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, no, totally.
Knowing
sense. Your own patterns, understanding your own patterns, And
that's part of that, like, sadness to, we need some sadness to recognize the happiness. You kind of got to go through the phases for yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Lots of sadness going on these days. I'm trying to stay out of it. I'm trying to stay
tune into
up.
the Robertson Sash. She brightening up your
Hide
day.
the knives. No.
What else, dude? What can we add here? You meditate at all? Have you tried that?
A little bit. I have a hard time kind of like filtering out the noise, though. My brain's
literally what it's all about.
Yeah, I know. But like my brain's going.
It's literally the whole point.
all the time about things things I need to do, how much time I have to do all these things.
I know it's that battle, and I haven't been doing it recently because I'm so busy. And but then I'm like, oh, what's going on? And like to sit down and just try and quiet it. I don't know why that's so helpful, but it's hard. It's very hard to do.
The less time you have for it, the more you need it.
Right. And for me, like,
I'm gonna go do it right after this podcast. But you kind of need to do it like in a right space. Like you can't just do it, with things going on, because then it's extra hard, and it just doesn't feel right. I don't know. I always feel like I need to be like alone and quiet. It's hard.
So for me, a lot of it too is like while I'm swimming, I'll go to the gym and I'll swim, and like you can't wear your headphones in the water, so there's no music. And it's just like swimming laps is like pretty meditative in that sense, where
yes, very.
I'm still thinking about things, but like a lot of times I'm just, going through the motions, and like there's not really any distractions in the pool while I'm doing this. And it's pretty calming in that sense too.
I can imagine that.
Very relaxing. Yeah. That was always one of my favorite parts about being in the ocean. Like you could be having the worst fucking day in the world.
Right.
As soon as you get in that fucking ocean, and it just melts a fucking way.
Yep.
It's just literal fucking therapy.
Yeah. Something about the water, man. It's rejuvenating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so good to stretch in the water too, man. Yeah. Like I can get all these back stretches, and very nice. I need a pool. I guess where do you go?
I go to this gym called Vasa. They got an indoor pool. It's pretty.
Vasa.
It's pretty small, but I've never I've never not like had a lane to myself kind of thing.
Is that like the water company too? Or no, that's something else, right? There's Vasa. Sounds fancy anyway.
Voss's water, yeah.
Yeah.
Voss?
Yeah, it's a
Voss water. Yeah.
Voss.
Okay. Yeah. But now they got like an indoor pool so I can swim in the winter and stuff like that. And yeah, just go and spend an hour in there kind of a couple times a week and do my thing. Yeah, it's good. It's a good feeling, you know. And I like haven't exercised in so long that I was like, I don't want to fucking go to the gym. But once I started doing it, I like, even if you don't want to go, once you're there and you start, like you feel good. And then when you're done, it's always like, I'm so fucking glad I came today.
That's how it always is.
I'm so glad I did this.
Just getting to the parking lot.
Yeah, that's the hardest
part.
Yeah.
Do you cold plunge?
No, hell no.
Have you tried that?
I have, and it's not pleasant.
It's not pleasant.
I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, you can get fucked up from that shit. One of my homies got nerves damaged in his feet from that shit.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd just be axing the holes through the ice and just sitting in the water, dude. It's good for you.
I mean, I remember doing that also, like as a kid, where you'd like sit in the hot tub and then you jump in the cold pool and then you get back into the fucking hot tub and then back into the pool, and like.
So you don't think that's good for you? Hot cold therapy? Could be.
I mean, maybe it is, but it's just uncomfortable that I'm not trying
death
to
by
indulge.
Comfort, dude. Have you ever heard?
I'll take it, bro. I'll take it. I hope I die
I'll
comfortable.
take 2 of them.
Yeah, I hope I die comfortable.
No, you know what that means though, right? Like too many comforts. Intermittent stress is good for you.
I won't deny. I won't deny comfort these days, man. Come on, fuck.
Yeah, but if you're comfy all the time, you die faster.
Definitely not comfy all the time. But yeah, no.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
there was a book.
You got to challenge yourself.
What about paranormal experiences? Are you a magnet for those?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. I kind of wish I was, because I like weird shit. You know.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah, I want to
like oddities, like
run from something chasing me, and maybe
you
turn.
Want
yeah,
to?
Fuck
like
yeah.
Scoob.
There's like all these funny videos of some dude dressed in a costume, and he like knocks on the door in the apartment and runs to the end of the hallway, and the people come out. You look and and then he starts like running at him, and I want to see what my fight or flight reaction would be in a situation like that. Would I like panic and run back into the door, or would I run at the thing and kick it?
Somebody signed Ben up for scare tactics.
Someone tried to scare me. Pull up, do some weird shit.
Some video.
I did a logo for the Chicago Paranormal Investigators.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So, and he wants to take me and some of the homies on a ghost thing, like a hunt or whatever the fuck you call it.
So these are the firefighters that know all the where the disasters have happened over the years.
Right. Yeah. So
that's pretty cool. That's that's gonna
be fun
resource to have if you're a paranormal investigator, because you can look up where all the schoolhouse fires were.
I guess.
Did you hear the Evergreen Art Center's haunted?
No.
Yeah.
Is it?
It is.
What happened there?
I mean, it's built on a cemetery or a children's school or something, but she was saying that all the staff know it's haunted. And then one day she was there, and the CD player wasn't even like a Bluetooth hooked up to it. It was like on blast, and it was press play. Yet someone had to press play on this CD player, and it was just going in there. It was like spooky. You should watch Robertson Stash, dude. We just posted the clip of it.
Would it have to be a modern ghost to know how to work a CD player, or would a ghost from the 1700s know how to work a CD player?
See, I feel like there could be modern ghosts, and they don't get enough credit. It's like always some Victorian age, white dress floating down the hallway. Like, why can't there be modern ghosts? Someone that died, in 1990,
trending
2000,
Or what about a chicken that died in a really horrific way?
And it just pecked the play button accidentally.
Ghost chickens.
Ghost chicken, yeah.
Yeah, maybe
it could be.
It was just doing its thing. And
has anyone ever seen a ghost chicken?
No, not yet.
Pet Cemetery, dude.
Oh,
go there and you probably, I don't know if you see chickens, but maybe cats and dogs. What else, guys?
What else? Now that we got that covered.
When I lived in Hawaii, there was like, there's a lot of like old Hawaiian legends about paranormal stuff, like the Menehune Man and like the Lady in White and stuff like that. And like we were all kind of like, I wonder if it's real. I never doubted that it's real, and I also never doubt that it's just a story. Like I don't know anybody that's had these experiences directly, but like it's definitely something you want to respect, especially amongst other people's cultures and things like that. If that's like something that they hold very strongly, like you respect that kind of thing. So we never pushed it too far, but at the same time, I also never saw any of those.
Well, these myths got to come from somewhere.
It's true,
right?
Yeah.
Like the lava rock curse.
The lava rock curse. Oh,
I heard about
the
that.
USPS in Hawaii just gets tons of packages with just rocks in them, because if you take a rock from the island, you get cursed.
Yeah, until
people send it back.
People mail. So the USPS just has just a bunch of boxes of rocks.
Yeah. People take one and then bad shit starts happening.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So that's trippy.
Yeah.
So that's like the kind of like, I don't know. It's like one of those things, like if you don't believe in it, does it work? Or is it like, does it only have authority over you if you give it power? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Are there other places with curses like that, or like superstitions?
I mean, I bet there are.
I mean, they say Cheeseman Park is haunted because it's built on a native burial ground. So, but I've never seen anything over there though. But yeah, there's lots of.
What was the first show at Red Rocks? Wasn't it like? It
was like a
ceremony of some kind.
Yeah. It was like church. It was church.
Was it?
Yeah, they like had like church services there and shit. And it was also probably like before that a special native place.
Really?
Oh yeah. This is all native land that we're on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It's Colorado, man. Definitely.
Yeah, who knows what happened 15,000 years ago here.
How long have you been here in Colorado?
I first moved to Fort Collins in 2000.
Okay,
but I've been here for a while. I've been between Cali and here since then. Like I, was in San Diego for a while, but Colorado's been, leaving Chicago, going west, this is the first cool place you get to.
Yeah.
So it's just like a kind of a natural stopping point. We would always come out here and get some Colorado haze and shit and bring it back to Chicago and shit, so like this is always like my home away from home. A bunch of my homies went to college out here and stuff, so we Colorado's been my home for a while.
Quarter century.
Yeah, it's been a while, but between here and Cali, Cali's my home away from home as well, so.
Where in Cali?
It's San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I met Jag and Rhino and all those guys. Shelbo.
Oh, nice.
Shelbo, I've said it here before, but Shelbo's the man. He's the one who motivated me to get out of my studio when I was just like.
Shout out to Fari too, though. They just signed the deal with the San Diego Football Club out there.
Nice. Footballing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a far
they're a big
right.
part of the San Diego vibe
it.
Out there.
I love that.
Yeah, San Diego is nice.
It sure is.
It is nice. Yeah.
Just dip over to Tijuana.
Yep.
Yeah, that was our after hours.
Yeah.
Tijuana, go down to Rosarito.
I was an alcoholic back when I lived in San Diego.
Oh yeah, I went down to Rosarito.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Crashed a jet ski down there.
Nice. All right.
With coil and tubes. I hit a sand dune. Went flying over the handlebars.
You're lucky you're alive.
Yes.
Yeah, I was limber.
Yeah, loose. Yeah, my buddy went to jail 3 times in one night in Rosarito.
Damn.
Jesus. They let him out. He paid his fine.
I bailed him out twice.
Bailed?
Yeah.
Really?
Bailed him out twice. The third time, yeah, you're staying in there.
Was that just paying the fine?
Oh yeah, like I was trying to bribe the cops and shit, and I was like, dude, I'll give you $200. And they're like, no, he's going to, he fought tons of cops, he was fighting cops and shit. It was wild. And so I went to bail him out, and it was $11 to bail him out.
Oh my God.
I was like, dude, why didn't you guys just take my $200, dude? This is crazy.
That's wild.
But that nigga needed to be locked up though. So yeah, he came out of jail and attacked me and started fighting me.
Oh my
and I had to knock him out in front of the jail too and shit.
Jesus.
And he got rearrested. And then I brought him out again, and then he got arrested again. And then
what was he on? Alcohol?
Oh yeah, he was wilding. Yeah.
Hello?
He was wilding.
Thanks. Bad stuff, dude. I don't drink anymore.
It's a Mexico.
2 years, dude.
Really?
Yeah,
2 years.
congratulations, bro. I love you for
that's
that.
Over 2 years.
I love you for that.
That's awesome. That's not
Best.
not an
Alcohol's
easy.
not good.
It's
I
not an
think
easy
about
thing
it
to quit.
sometimes, and just like, what's the point, dude? What's the point? Because you get out of hand, and like, I don't know, what's the point, dude?
Yeah.
Do a little mushroom, smoke a little weed, a lot of weed.
Smoke a lot of weed, yeah. Yeah, man. Healthy boundaries.
What advice would you have for any young artists getting into glass or art in general?
It's not a good time to get into glass.
No, don't say that.
I would never like turn someone away that wanted, that like, I would never try to deter someone that wanted to do this, because it's like an amazing art form. It's fun to do. I just feel like if you want to be successful as an artist in probably any medium these days, like you have to be aggressively passionate about what you're doing, because if you're not, it's going to get pushed back, by responsibilities, by a real job, by kind of anything else. Like if you want to succeed, like you really need to work hard at what you're doing in the studio. And then, one of the things that like never really occurs to artists in the beginning is like, not only do you have to be talented as an artist or develop talent as an artist, but like you have to be able to sell your work, or you have to have someone that can sell your work.
Very important.
And without that, you're making art is making art, and it's great. But if you want to do that for a living, like you have to find some sort of outlet, to create like a fiscal income for yourself doing that. And that's kind of the hard part, making the work is 12% of it, and the other 88% is trying to sell it, and like, I wouldn't deter anybody that wants to be an artist. A lot of times I think about the last 26 years that I've been blowing glass, and should I have gotten a job, like a regular job, and had benefits and like a 401k and like that kind of stuff, and now I do regret it a little bit, only because the stability that all of my other friends have is, I don't have that, right? They've got like all of these fallbacks for when they're older. But at the same time, the last 26 years, I've gotten to make my own schedule. I've gotten to like go surf every day when I wanted to.
I've live quality of life.
Exactly. Quality of life has been better. And so what the things I'm maybe a little envious of them now, they were envious of me up until this point, right?
And they still are.
They had that 9 to 5. I was going to the beach.
Yeah.
There's pros and cons. There's pros and cons.
So you need. Are you putting stuff away for retirement, or are you?
I've like spent most of my savings, almost all of my savings at this point, just trying to keep up with how tough the market's been.
Yeah.
Luckily I'm fortunate that I was able to buy a house and build some equity, and
that's awesome. You had some savings,
do stuff like that. Yeah.
Save your money.
But retirement and things like that, like I'm going to work until I'm dead, and that's fine because I love what I do. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's wear and tear on your body, and like being in the shop every day, and am I going to pay my mortgage this month? Am I, having that little bit of security would be kind of nice.
I don't think that normies have that security either, though, dude.
Are you sure? I feel like some of them do.
You could get fired at any minute.
I mean, that's true.
Right.
And then you're like, what do I do?
But like, if let's just say you've been at a company for 20 years, you've earned some sort of benefits at that point.
My wife's uncle, dude, he was with IBM for 40 years, and they canned him, and he was like in his 50s, 60s, and it was like,
that's hard.
It's tough, dude.
That's hard.
So there's no guarantees, man.
And that's true too.
I think the quality of life is the important thing, and also let's teach the younger artists to get a 401k started. Start investing when you're young. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know what the fuck a 401k was.
Right.
Until like 10 years ago, not even. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know what it was. So it's like, why are they not teaching the youth this in school? Instead of teaching the youth what's inside of a bean, teach them how to start a 401k and have some financial responsibility in teach them how to be an independent artist.
I totally agree.
You know, growing up, I was told you can't be an artist. Like being an artist is not a job.
Right.
You know, so it's like not only are they not teaching me how to be independent,
they're telling me
they're telling me it's not an option.
Right.
You know, so it's like, you know, that we just need to reform how we approach this shit. You know, and you know, help the youth not make the same mistakes that we've made.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's totally possible. You know, and I think that fucking art is so important.
I agree.
I think it's so important, and we need more young people using their minds and contributing to society in a way of beautification, you know, in conviction and authenticity, you know, because they have great vision, you know, and, you know, great intentions, and they just need to share it.
Who wrote this curriculum?
Need to help them develop it.
Probably the prison system.
Like, I heard it was like Ghislaine Maxwell's grandfather. But it is.
I hear they do a lot of work with kids.
They do a lot of work. Worker bee.
Yeah, they do a lot of work with kids, that family.
And all the school photos.
That's a wild take, bro.
All the school photos, too.
Yo.
The company that came in and took all the school photos, dude.
Right. I heard that. That shit's crazy,
It's all
bro.
connected, bro.
And there's no coincidence, you know what I'm saying? The same motherfuckers that are running the children's shelter are the ones that are doing the trafficking, you know? It's like...
Yeah,
it's crazy, man. Dark times. We need to hold these motherfuckers accountable.
Yeah, more kids need to do art. Let's go back to that.
Wouldn't it just be better if they were working with their hands and creating and like not learning about...
Instead of massaging millionaires and billionaires.
Right?
Sickos.
Not that, but just... I mean, you know, middle school, I don't know what they're learning, but I guess you got to have a foundation.
I feel like they should teach kids how to farm, how to garden, you know,
how to harvest meat.
Like, I'm fucking vegetarian 26 years, but I still think motherfuckers should know how to harvest meat and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
once AI takes over the world, like we're gonna go back to hunting and gathering and, like, you know, hiding from robots and shit. And if you don't know how to fucking plant a garden or fucking skin an animal, like you're not gonna survive for very long.
Mm-hmm. It also just gives you an appreciation for life, you know? Like if you're going to eat meat and you slaughter your own animal, you understand the process and the sacrifice that animal is making for you to have that bacon or whatever it may be, you know? It's like, I don't know.
I mean, I do most of my hunting and gathering at the H Mart and the King Supers, and you know, like without those, like how would I be able to make it? Like I can garden pretty well, and I don't think I'm much of a hunter. I've never really gone out and gone hunting. But yeah, you know, things would be different if things were different. Like, you know, if we didn't have
priorities,
if we didn't have our cell phones, like, you know, navigation would be gone, and we'd be out here digging in the dirt trying to figure out where to go and how to survive. And you know, that's definitely not something that's ever been in like my curriculum growing up. You know, through elementary school, junior high school, college, like any of that. You know,
but I mean, growing up, we didn't have these.
I do know about the Pythagorean theorem. I want to say I do, but I honestly don't remember. It was that a squared plus b squared equals c squared.
Yeah, what is that?
Yes, magic.
Okay.
Yeah, magic. I wouldn't have even been able to recall what that was. Like, I know I've heard of it before, but you know.
Shout out my daughter, actually, because she's just got 49 digits of pi, and she got a little award. They're remembering pi right now, which,
all right.
I mean, it's good memory work.
It's a life skill.
Yeah. But it's
I think that's pretty awesome.
I think
nonetheless, but
they're learning stuff.
You know, things like doing taxes and you know, survival thing, like, not that taxes are a survival
instinct, teach you any of that.
But no, they don't, and they should.
They send you out into the world, and it's like you owe probably $250,000 sometimes if you you get a loan for very easy to get a college loan, then you're $100,000 in debt sometimes. Mm-hmm. Some of these kids,
and you know what can replace that? Community, just working with a mentor, working with, you know, your constituents, working with just working with people.
Yeah, like an alternative to college. Like if you find a mentorship and you go work for like the top person that,
Yeah, dude, I've worked with more artists than I can count that are professional artists now, and like, I've helped pave that way and just, framework it. And, it's not hard. You just got to fucking do it, and be a little bit crazy.
You got to want it. You got to work for it.
Yeah. And, have, some conviction, man, have a true vision, don't just, mirror what other people are doing that's successful or whatever, have your own unique voice, have your own unique message, and stick by that shit, and allow it to grow when needed.
Sometimes.
Absolutely.
It is.
With all the
it's monkey see, monkey do.
Kids are growing up like this. They're going to have neck problems. And it's just, I feel like everything's on there. Even with us, like our businesses, you're always checking Instagram. It's
I still try to be aware of it though. I don't like that. That is not my master. What I'm saying? Like,
think of like a 12, kids are getting phones at 12 years old, right?
For sure. Yeah.
When was the last time some of these kids went out and drank from the hose? Like
there's fluoride in there. They don't do that.
Dude, I'll still drink that hose water.
Yeah.
The taste of plastic.
If I had to. Yeah. I'll just drink it.
Yeah. Play in the dirt.
Yeah, exactly. Skin your knee, fucking jump in your bike off
of
my
kids are
off of a sketchy wooden ramp.
They're also making art.
They're making art and a lot.
On their own. And they're self-propelled, which is fucking huge, dude.
Yeah,
like that is. Like it's beautiful to see fucking his drawings, man.
Yeah, shout out to the lion giraffe. That shit was tight.
Pushing the boundaries. Yeah, dude. And that's that is inevitably how it will be too. Like that little guy will be inspiring you. And already is. In teaching you and helping wild. You mature. Not only as a father but as a man and as an artist.
Absolutely. Those kids, yeah,
but just give it the space. Like when I feel when we were growing up, it was the kids are to be seen and not heard type shit, so we got a lot of smacks across the face and, a lot of shuts the fucks up. And, now it's like, we know that we should listen to the youth and they got a message for us and, they have, a point of view that is unique and beautiful, so
that is beautiful.
Absolutely. Makes me really happy, man.
Hey guys, do you like magic mushrooms as much as I do? Tired of foraging for them for yourself? Well, look no further. Full Canopy Genetics has got you covered. They sell these ready-to-go, grow-at-home grow bags, and believe me, I've been loving them. They're like little projects at home. In about 3 to 4 weeks, you have yourself a bag of beautiful mushrooms. You dehydrate them, you can share them with your friends, grind them up into capsules, or enjoy them in tea. Super great product, high-quality genetics. Check them out, fullcanopygenetics.com. Use code STASH25 for additional discounts.
You got any shows or anything lined up? Any cool events that you're doing?
Thursday I fly to Chicago. Doing a live painting out there.
Sweet.
Going to see some comedy out there as well.
Nice.
And then on the 18th in Chicago as well. Then after that I'm going to New Orleans.
Sweet.
After that I'm going to the Sphere.
Nice.
The Sphere.
Is your work going to be projected?
All that was work except the Sphere. That's going to be
okay for fun. Sweet. Nice.
That'd be dope.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm really hesitant of scheduling this year, to be honest, because last year I went so fucking hard. I had like barely any time off at all. So
it's tough.
Yeah, that's why I was asking you about the work-life balance.
It's like normally I do a couple shows a year here and there and some trade shows and stuff, and this year it's been just kind of not like so far it's been nonstop. Mm-hmm. I've got I just got back from an event yesterday, and then I got 2 weeks to prepare for a show, like a 420 drop in New Jersey.
I was just out there.
And then 2 weeks after that, I got the trade show in Vegas, Champs in Vegas, and the Masters competition and stuff. So I got to kind of prepare for that. And then, God, not even a week after that, I'm actually going to the UK with my dad.
Oh, shit. Nice.
Just like for a vacation. He's going to show me where he grew up and stuff like that. So it'll be a cool little adventure out there. Kind of like not stress out about working and like, hitting deadlines and things like that. And then I don't have anything planned after that for a while until DFO in July. They're doing the contest again, which will be cool. So I'm gonna go out there for that. Shot glass contest? No, they're doing like the full DFO. Nice. Contest, like the 10-hour work day. You get to bring like a little small box of finished stuff ahead of time.
Sick. So it's a competition?
Oh, they're limiting the size of the box of the prep work now.
Yeah, and
things was getting out of control.
It was, back in the day when I was competing in them, it was, you show up and you can bring your prep work, and then you get 10 hours to make the coolest thing you can make. And like, for me, that's perfect because that's the kind of work I make, but for some of these other guys that make like, crazy extravagant, they're like 2 weeks or 3 weeks invested. And some of the more recent DFOs, like you could bring 3 weeks worth of work and then just like,
which is not a very level playing field,
mouthpiece it at the contest. And like, that's awesome because the work is next level. But it's not a fair playing field for the people that can't afford
unless you're willing to do that same 3 week investment.
Competition, like the live competition factor out of it.
Yeah.
It's like,
so I think this one, I think they said the rules are, it's like a 10 hours and you get to bring whatever fits in a small box and
it's good to have some guidelines.
Yeah, so it'll be a fun
How many
event.
people are competing?
I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea. But I haven't been up to the Pacific Northwest for a little bit. I got some people up there I'd like to see. So it's going to be a fun trip, kind of all around.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
Yeah.
Nice. Sounds like you have a pretty fun summer lined up.
Yeah, I got a little bit of work. I would like to kind of stick around and just get some things done around here too. I decided not to do a garden in my yard this year because I'm gonna be gone so much, and I don't have like an automated sprinkler system or anything set up. So,
and you got to keep those watered in the summer.
Hell yeah, especially this summer.
Yeah, it's
gonna be a pretty rough summer, I think.
Yeah. With the it was like 70 degrees when we went skiing last week.
Yeah,
it was crazy. Up there.
The
71.
We've had I think it's like the lowest snowpack that they've recorded since they started recording the snowpack. This is
which is
lowest.
Dangerous.
Yeah,
very dangerous.
I took the boat out to the lake last week, and it's the lowest water level there that I've ever seen. Like,
probably things that you are exposed.
Oh yeah,
never
100%.
It's been underwater for a long time.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
So that's gonna make for a rough summer. Fire season and things like that.
Yeah, be responsible with your campfires and your joints and your blunts and shit.
Yeah,
don't throw that shit out the fucking window.
Yeah, the fire insurance is going crazy. Everything is
because they know it's because it's inevitable. That's why, because it's inevitable.
It's the Jewish space lasers.
Oh, I didn't want to say it. He said it. Wasn't me.
Yeah.
The HARP facility.
It's gonna be an interesting summer. I definitely I've got some stuff planned, but I would like to kind of stick around here a little bit too. So.
NASA means to deceive in Hebrew?
Nope.
Interesting.
It's crazy because I speak Hebrew fluently and I don't know that word.
You're fluent?
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you want me to
how did that come
chat?
How did that come about?
I believe
I've done this before on the pod, but what does NASA mean in Hebrew? That's not it, dude.
That's not even a word.
That's the way AI works. Just keep asking it until you get the answer you want.
We've done it. We looked it up, and it did give me to deceive answer.
Interesting.
That's not one that
I'm
familiar with.
I dreamt about that, dude. I can't tell anymore.
And now you got me wanting to Google it.
Google it, dude. Google it. What does NASA mean in Hebrew?
They did just use that space laser to shoot down some rockets for the first time, though.
Okay.
Or they say it's the first time, but so it's like obvious that it's a real thing, that it does exist.
I didn't even hear about this, dude. What they used the laser to shoot some asteroids to save Earth?
No, not asteroids, missiles. Since
the war.
Yeah.
All right. So it says NASA is not a Hebrew word, but it is phonetically similar to a few different Hebrew words, which has led to misconceptions and conspiracy theories about some other stuff. Nasha, to deceive, beguile, or lead astray. I mean, that's pretty close. That's pretty close.
I don't think that's pretty close. I think that's spot on. How is it spelled?
NASA. I mean,
H-A.
it's phonetically pretty close. Yeah.
Exact.
Okay.
Phonetically exact. Which is curious.
Very curious.
Interesting.
You think those motherfuckers are telling the truth? NASA?
Google or the space people?
Space people.
Let's just blanket no.
I feel like they're definitely not telling us everything.
Telling us what they want us
Yeah.
to know.
I mean, most of it's a psyop.
Yeah.
You know? And if it's...
I heard something like NASA used to do a lot of underwater exploration.
Right.
And then they stopped because they found some like super weird shit. And now they're just doing space stuff because it's easier to not talk about the weird shit they found in the ocean.
That could be.
And they're probably still doing weird ocean shit.
And the oceans are way more accessible.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it's interesting stuff.
And how we can't fly over the Arctic.
Well, and how we assumedly lost the technology to go to the moon.
Right.
Like,
Where'd that go?
How do you lose
I feel
technology?
like, yeah, that's crazy because, back when we did make it to the moon, we were at like Walkman technology and like we're at Bluetooth and live streaming and like there's
5G.
Yeah.
But when we came back, we had these things pretty quickly after.
It's true.
Yeah. That footage, though, I just can't believe that footage, dude. That like them taking off. Like, who's filming that, anyways?
Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, I know, but on the if it wasn't him, who, who had the tripod and how did they get the footage?
Yeah.
Is it being broadcast back to
how did they go
Houston?
pick up the camera that they
to
used
get
to
that
film
shot?
them leaving?
Right. Was there another crew that was like, okay, we got the gear, let's go.
We got that B-roll, guys. We're ready to go.
Yeah. No, it just seems to the way it looks, dude. It's like all tinfoily on shit. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you also have to understand that this is part of the plan is to have us questioning everything. And so even our actuality and our reality and everything that we're even seeing in front of us, we can put into question, so that we can't, it's putting the reliable narrator trope to the extreme.
Yeah, but it also seems, with today's thing, with everything that's happening today, they don't want us questioning things. You know what I'm saying? It's like the woke people are the ones that are seeing things from a different perspective than what's been fed to us, in school and on the news and things like that. And, I feel like there's both sides. There's both sides to it.
For sure. I mean, destroying our natural curiosity, though, I think is in shaming. That's the whole conspiracy theory terminology. Like, that's a shameful content. Like, that's to shame people into not thinking. Right. And to muddy the waters of and make it not. Just to be a crazy person. Like, oh, you think that's crazy.
It's like gaslighting, dude.
Absolutely.
That's what they
Yeah.
are doing. It's a great word for it.
Yeah. The government's the best gaslighter there is.
Right.
And all these movies too, it's like, have you heard of like karmic release? So like when they put this weird shit out there
They're
in the movies
it.
And they're like, okay, so some of it could be real. And like they're like, okay, we put it out there.
We'll see how
there's
people
like
react.
this way, like some of these, if you read into it, but there's like a karmic release and they say, they put it in a movie or something. And then it's like, okay.
Well, it's spells, it all goes back to spells, like it's the power of intention, and spell casting, spelling, words, everything we say comes with an impact, so if you are intentional with that,
I believe that. I got to be better at it sometimes too.
I mean, I kind of feel like that's like what the remote viewing stuff is like sometimes too, where it's like there's some gray area there, but it seems like I don't know.
It's legit.
Like it is possible what the human mind's potential is. We have infinite potential.
They want everything calcified, your penile gland, so we cannot.
So everything's limited,
right? Yeah. With all the food supply, like what the fuck is up with the food supply? Why did they have to fuck all that up and put like
all the weird shit in
the weird shit in that gives people it's because it's all connected. Because it's like the
control.
drug companies and then the hospitals and insurance companies.
And addictions too. We're addicted. Like those mice in that study that chose sugar over fucking cocaine.
Wow.
Processed sugar is more addictive than cocaine.
Is it? Wow.
So it's like they literally have society strung out on this horrible shit.
Everywhere. Oh
it's
my
your boy,
God.
It's your boy high fructose.
Yeah, and it very
Shit
accessible.
is not good for you.
Right, and illegal in most countries.
Right.
It's like,
Wow.
it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, we gotta get our shit together. And then even when we got like a motherfucker that's talking about good health shit like Kennedy is and stuff, it's still just shrouded in just bullshit and
right.
in sabotaged or whatever for whatever reason. It's not, we can't get a good look at what's even happening. There's no transparency in
that's the hard
in
part.
This industrial farming complex that we have. But
I think it all kind of boils down to capitalism too. Is like they're playing the long game. Where they're doing all these things that are just going to kind of make the rich richer and make the rest of us,
slaves.
Yeah.
They want the good old days back.
Yeah.
America does have a slave complex, that we love our slaves. It's how it's built. We love cheap labor, and we try to be on our high horse, being like, it's not us, because the sweatshop's in China or some shit or somewhere else. It's not our sweatshop. So it's like, they're the ones doing it bad, but they're making shit for us. So it's like, it's just like, not much has changed here, in the roots are the roots and they run deep, and it's hard for these guys to give up. That's, plantation mentality.
Right.
And yeah, it's fucking dark,
Yeah. It's just to maximize those dollars.
Well, yeah, capitalism at its finest, free labor.
Do you think there's other countries out there that are not living with this kind of mentality? Like, our government?
Well, when it comes down to like food and stuff, if you go to Europe or like Japan or something, like everything's clean, like everything's healthy. Like people here that are glucose intolerant here can go there and like eat French bread and eat Italian bread. Right? Yeah, and it's something that they do to the wheat, something that goes into the processing.
We bleach,
Well, it's like a GMO. They've genetically created this antivirus resistant wheat here in America. But yeah, I heard like Italy and other places, Europe, they don't have like the pasta isn't so hard. People with those kind of allergies.
Yeah, that's why I like good homemade pastas. They're so fucking good.
You're still getting that American wheat.
Depending on where they're sourcing it, and if they have GMO sources or an organic source, But yeah, definitely. It's hard to navigate it.
Even just going like as far as Hawaii, like the fish there is fresher. You eat Spam, you eat like all this other stuff, but like people there are pretty healthy, and like Polynesian people are big people, so you can't really, like, oh yeah, they got a bunch of fat people. They don't. Those people are just big, they're big and they're strong, but they're fucking healthy, and whenever I go back there and spend time eating fish and poke and stuff like that, and then I come home and I'm like, God damn, I gotta eat a fucking sandwich. Like I don't want to fucking, like, the food and everything out there is just so much better. And then I feel like the farther away you go from the United States, like quality of things like that are a lot higher. I haven't been to like a lot of the Asian countries aside from Japan, but the food in Japan was great everywhere, So
I hear that
food in Europe was great everywhere, and like they eat their last meal at 10 p.m. or like 11 p.m. and like here you can't eat before you go to bed. Like you're gonna wake up with heartburn. You're gonna wake up fucking fat.
It depends what you're eating though too.
It's true that is true, but yeah, I definitely think that that's just like kind of one way that they're making more money off of us being unhealthy.
Yeah, it's capitalism.
That's for sure.
Yeah, the food is a part of the, financial gains of the whole system. Get a motherfucker sick with the food, get profit off the hospital bills. Get profit off the food, low quality food for a high price. It's all capitalism. Yeah, it's fucking, and they teach it young. This is what the schools are teaching.
Right.
We're asking what the schools are teaching.
This
Shitty
is it.
diet,
Yeah.
shitty food, low quality food.
Yeah, I think the food pyramid's changed like 6 times since I learned it, where they're just like, oh yeah, you need more of this or less of this and less of this.
It's all based on what the corporations want you to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess learning how to be self-sufficient would be like living off the land a little bit.
Even just aware.
Survival.
Just being more aware.
That would be a good thing to learn in school.
Yeah, absolutely.
In case there is a power outage, which I hear we're going to get a lot more of because they're cutting the power because of the wind, because the electric company is getting sued for these fires.
Right.
So they're just going to pre-cut the power before windstorms now. I'm like, dude, we had one up here for 4 days. It was cut.
That's
I had to
wild.
throw my food out.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was up in Fort Collins seeing a little jazz show, and the power went out at the place, and it was just a show by candlelight. It was fucking cool.
Sometimes
it was cool.
Out.
It was a vibe, dude. I was like,
that's
this is
dope.
cool, man.
Dude, we had a big 5-day power outage when I was in just graduating high school. It was more than that. It was a really big one. It was like New York and Ontario were out, big power grid, but everything was just candlelit, and it was like a vibe for a little bit after people got over.
Yeah, the shock of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something, about simplifying life that, brings peace, and,
all these Wi-Fi waves over everything all the time.
There's a lot of fuck shit out there, it's like...
plants don't grow as good when they have Wi-Fi going through them. Like they've done that study.
Have they?
Yeah.
I have no
That's
idea.
scary. And we're not very far from a plant.
We're around it all the time, being exposed to it.
Right. But cellularly, like how if it's affecting the plants, it's affecting us.
No one
Yeah, I got homies that they will not put in an earbud. They will not use Bluetooth. They will, they will not, they don't have Wi-Fi at their house.
They walk through the other thing at the airport. They don't go through the scanner.
The metal detector,
You get frisked.
opt out,
All the TSA is like, holy fuck, this tinfoil hat guy.
I think we just need to go camping more and, spend more time outdoors.
It is nice.
Yeah, and look up and see
nice.
what's
Right,
out
look
there,
up,
dude. Because that's
up.
the other thing they're doing is they're blocking out the stars, and that's why all the old megalithic structures are all built to the stars, dude.
Is it the stars or is it the sun?
The stars and the sun. A lot of them are stars.
The summer and winter solstice too.
Yeah,
They
the
line up
spring
with-
solstice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the vernal equinox. But did you guys hear about this? The Easter Day red star over the Sphinx. Okay, and Space Force's logo. So that's what this is happening maybe on Easter Sunday. But they say
when is
maybe
Easter? It's coming up in a couple weeks.
it's like this week. It's this week,
Yeah,
this Sunday.
week, yeah.
So over the Sphinx, there's going to be a red star, and it like astronomers have said, yes, it's calculated to be there. And if you look at Space Force's logo,
it's a Sphinx with a star over it.
it's the Sphinx with the star over it. And so people are saying this Easter, there's going to be disclosure. There's going to be I was looking at other generators last night just because, I don't know, I feel like this Easter, maybe we'll see. This might not age well, but the red star over the Sphinx is coming up on Easter, and that's the logo for Space Force. It's a star with the Sphinx. And why would they have the Sphinx on Space Force, dude? That is weird, isn't it?
I mean, I think that Egypt and the pyramids and all that there's been a direct correlation with the stars. Like we were just talking about.
Maybe.
There's always been that connection.
Oh, so they're
since it's,
so it's not too far-fetched. Yeah.
No.
Did you hear about the second Sphinx they just found underneath the Sphinx?
I heard something
What's
about
going on
that.
with that? Yeah, dude.
I didn't look into it, but I did.
Because there
I saw
is
something pop up.
all these depictions of two Sphinx on these hieroglyphics, and they're like, "Where's the other one?
Maybe
it's buried."
What
but
does the
there's
other one's
another
head
one.
look like?
It's buried so far underneath, but it lines up perfectly with the other one. But it's they're doing that radar testing. Yeah, so it's just
But what does his head look like though? Is it a lion's head or is it a human
I think
face?
it's off. I don't know, dude. I think it kind of looks like you can't really tell.
Because that's a big fucking deal, dude. Because that's a whole part of the mystery of the Sphinx is how
well definitely
it got
was
that
carved
shape.
down.
Right.
It was definitely
It was
carved
definitely
down.
defaced.
Have you
numerous
seen
times?
The view of it with a drone shot? It's a tiny little head on that giant body.
Yeah, and even
it's crazy small.
And I'm pretty sure the nose is knocked off of it even currently. So even after it was
probably changed
defaced,
the
it was
face.
defaced again.
Yeah.
You know?
Apparently, it was like a dog had it, right, or like a lion. Like
I think it was I don't know. There's conspiracies that it was a lion.
I mean, I would guess it's some sort of feline, just because of their appreciation for cats and things like that out there.
Yeah, and cats are magical creatures.
I had some cool cats.
I had one cat for like 17 years. I was allergic.
She was a scaredy cat.
Cats.
Yeah, I'm
She
allergic.
was a
I'm
scaredy
allergic
cat.
too. I'm allergic too.
She stayed out
Yeah,
of the
I
way.
remember.
Yeah. R.I.P. Looney.
Yeah. Meow.
Meow. I need one of those.
Yeah.
Well, we covered a lot. Covered some ancient stuff.
Yeah.
We listened to Randall Carlson the whole drive to California, dude. Like all the pods in order.
Okay.
And I mean, there's something about that. And we were actually driving through the land he was talking about. Like it was kind of cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
But like how all the ice just melted and carved out all like Grand Canyons like pretty much instantly. Like rushing water jet cutter. And then, boy, that would be crazy, dude. 12,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Who knows what we had before that? Look what 100 years does to anything.
Yeah.
We don't even know what 1,000 years does to anything.
That's why I love that
10,000.
Graham Hancock show, man. That Graham Hancock, that motherfucker is wild.
He's good. I've seen, like ancient
Apocalypse or something like that. Yeah, that shit's dope, man.
Is that
Like,
podcast, TV show?
yeah,
or?
I think it's on Netflix. Yeah, it's on Netflix.
It's
But
really
it's
good.
just interesting.
What's it called?
Ancient
There's
Apocalypse.
Ancient Americas
Yeah.
and Ancient Apocalypse.
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
But there's like sites in Colorado like that are like 10,000 years old, like settlements that, you know, like who knows what's going on. The San Luis Valley. There's all the cave dwellers that were thousands of years.
Right.
Where's that? Manitou?
Yeah. Yeah, the Cave of the Winds and all that shit out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy
Like
history.
only stone will stand the test of time. Like paper, like maybe glass if you had
Even metal, like oxidizes
metal
and shit.
rust.
You know, yeah.
plastic goes away, biodegrades. Well, over
That new mushroom is
eating it.
digesting plastic at a very serious rate.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a new I don't know if it's a new mushroom or not.
They're
but
going to
it's,
say plant this everywhere, and then it's going to turn to that movie Last of Us. It's gonna be like, mushroom overrun.
I think they're canceling that. I don't think they're going to do another season of it.
How many seasons did they do?
Just two. I think.
Okay, I think I've seen them all then.
Yeah.
Yes, it's also one of those things like on the same, the same wavelength of thought, with the Mayans and like the Aztecs and how they just disappeared. Did they reach some sort of technological advancement that
Beamed them to their star.
Yeah, where they reached enlightenment or whatever, or is it the fact that the only thing that survives is stone? And like, if, even for us nowadays, like if our civilization is wiped out, nobody's going to be able to plug these in and check Google. So
No,
like
all
the
of our
paper
information
is going to
is stored.
deteriorate. Like everything is on this. And so everything that the next civilization knows about us is only going to go so far, because plastic's going to be gone, because paper's going to be gone, because technology's going to be gone. So like, are they
It could be these things that we make that
stick around?
yeah.
I mean, that's possible.
Like they were into flamingos, man.
Flamingos and giraffes.
You could start a new civilization when they dig one up, and it's just it says Burtoni. We're the Burtonians.
Let's go. Let's go.
Maybe that's how it starts.
So I feel like, yeah, with stone kind of being like the only thing that's going to be around, there's going to be a lot of questions about our civilization, and like how far our technology evolved and like what we achieved as a society.
Yeah, because
it's
you
all
think
going
they're
to go
putting
back
out
to like,
how they're making these on stone tablets?
yeah, absolutely not.
Like
No.
it's stored on
Yeah.
the drive somewhere,
Yeah.
and that's going to get
It's
melted.
going to be gone. Yeah, it's going to be gone.
So yeah, it's crazy, man, to think about stuff like that. What about storing information in crystals?
Is that a thing?
I think so.
I
They
mean,
think that.
Isn't that what like computers are basically made with like crystals.
I think they're storing new information in like man-made crystal hard drive things, but like they say, like, you know, the crystal skull that they found.
Sure.
They could be
the Lumerians.
Information in that. We just don't know how to read it.
Right. And
that's how, like, if someone came across this and from a different planet, they'd be like, wow, they access the information in it.
You know, will the next civilization be able to decode the knowledge that we're storing in these crystals now?
Yeah.
They're gonna have to interpret Skibbity Toilet.
Skibbity Toilet, dude.
Fuck. Yeah. I mean, I was watching some shit about the Dead Sea Scrolls and just like, you know, the Book of Enoch and all that shit, and just like the lost elements of the Bible that were lost or
they're taken out because they
out, you know.
Talk about the crazy stuff.
Right.
Yeah, they have to 3D X-ray the scrolls because they can't.
Right.
And they say like Noah's Ark was a floating pyramid.
Yeah, I mean,
something like that.
Yeah, a lot of
along those lines.
Yeah, there's theories out there that it would be more realistic to be a DNA database as opposed to physical animals on a boat.
Yeah, shout out to Noah for keeping black widows and fucking
rattlesnakes. Really collecting all those fuckers. Yeah, and all the apex predators to not eat them all on the journey.
And get a couple of ticks, all of them.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't say it's definitely didn't happen, but it's definitely far-fetched.
Well, dude, the story of the flood and with the Younger Dryas period theory,
right? I
mean, which that makes perfect sense. Like, no one's really disproving that it wasn't a big rapid melt at a certain time, which flooded everything because we had 2 miles of ice over everything, and that all just instantly melted.
Yeah. That's one thing that is scientifically
I guess sea
supported.
levels were 400 feet up, so you know,
and culturally, religious-wise, every major religion has
a similar story.
Theory, you know, and like so like that is curious, you know.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I mean, I just hope. What I heard is the government's only spending $50 million on asteroid protection, which is the same amount as a Black Hawk helicopter, and that I feel like is probably something that the whole world needs to get together on, and because that's what would be, you know, we had that big flyby of something like that went into our solar system and out, and who knows where it is, no one's talking about it anymore. But if that was coming,
the three-eyed Atlas thing,
but if something was coming,
what happened with that?
It went behind the sun and
disappeared.
It's gone. No one talking about it. I think they were seeing. Who knows, dude? Like, who can believe, like, oh yeah, there it is. I didn't see it. I don't know.
I like the theory of what was it, Adam and Eve from, you know, they're on Anunnaki or whatever, and when their civilization collapsed, they got in the escape pod and they landed here on Earth, and that was the meteor that wiped out the dinosaurs.
Is on another planet.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Their like original home was somewhere else, and their escape pod landed on Earth, and that was the meteor crash or whatever, that like killed all the dinosaurs, and then civilization started growing here.
I kind of like that. That's fun.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff like that out there.
The world would be unlivable after that for a little while.
For a little while, for sure.
So maybe they stayed in their pod.
Yeah.
Banged it out, made some grandchildren.
Cryogenic.
Maybe their meteor was like a whole spot, like a whole like hotel where they could have a family, raise some kids.
Maybe a blocked out sun in a more toxic environment is more homely to them. You know, more like their home that they came from.
Right.
You know, so it's like, you know,
just adapted to like air.
That's why I love like conspiracy theories and shit. You know, it's basically just like Star Wars. You know, it's just like, you know, it's just like, even if, you know, I don't have to die on the hill. I don't have to like 100% believe in it. Right. You know, I could believe in it the same way I believe in the Bible. You know, it's like
take it with a grain of salt.
You know, and it's just, you know, it doesn't have to be hard fact. And, you know, like I said earlier, I think that curiosity is important, and it's important for us to stay curious, you know, regardless. And if we're rigid in our thinking and that we know all these facts to be facts, that's going to kill our curiosity.
Yeah.
You know, because the more we learn, the less we know.
Right.
You know, so it's like,
dude, I like that. You got to stay curious.
Yeah,
man.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Absolutely.
Maybe we should end on that note.
Hell yeah.
I like that.
Hell yeah.
Stay curious out there, kids.
Yeah. And love one another.
Hey, Ben, if anyone wants to get some of your work, where can they find you at?
I'd say Instagram is probably the best way.
Okay.
You know, shoot me a message at Burtoni Glass.
Burtoni Glass?
Yep.
One word.
Yep.
And Vincent Gordon, you got your website and IG.
We out here.
VG Art. What is it, Vincent Gordon? Or
Vincent Gordon. Yeah.
Okay.
.com and Vincent Gordon on Instagram.
Nice.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you guys, man.
Thanks for having
coming
me.
in. Hell yeah, we
Appreciate
told
it.
some
This
great
was fun.
stories. Thank you guys for listening. If you made it this far,
I don't know what to do with my hands.
All right. Well, why don't you shake one of mine? Hey, brother. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you guys.
Yes,
Good shit.
Killer. All right. Thanks for tuning in to the Robertson Stash Podcast. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you want to support us, please hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, we want to hear from you. So if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to reach out. Hit the website, hit the link. We'll see you next time.